Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter. In this video, I want to go over the Rampage demonstration that they did in the digital event here in Japan. I thought this was fantastic because they took everybody through the Rampage from the very beginning of the quest all the way up to the Apex Arzuros, and they showed off a little bit of that monster. Now, instead of just giving you a one-on-one translation of everything they're saying and it being kind of dry, I want to kind of put it in my own words, but do rest assured that anything I say, unless I explicitly tell you I think, I feel, for me this is whatever, I'm just telling you what they're saying. I'm just trying to do it in a way that's a little bit easier to understand because this video is a little bit longer. Okay, so starting out here, they're doing a 3-wave rampage. They do mention later in the video that there's some that are shorter, like 2 waves. There's ones that are longer, which are 3 waves and end with the Apex monster. So this is the full, long version. This is the beginning camp area, so you can do everything here from access your item box, change out your weapon, and the arrows here show how to go to the arena where the monsters are going to invade. Now for this demonstration, they did have the lead game designer of the Rampage going through stuff, which I thought was really nice. But again, it was all in Japanese, so unless you understood it, it was a little hard to get. And a quick side note for me, yes, that is a Kezu switch axe. That thing looks awesome. So here they just want to show you off that there are sort of installation points all around the stronghold. And what you want to do is decide what type of armament you want there. Do you want a ballista? Do you want an automatic one, which is manned by a villager, which we just saw? Do you want cannons? You sort of get like a wide variety of choices of things you can put down. If you're playing with other players, which I assume you will, if you notice here, other players are able to choose and select items to install as well. So basically what this prep period is for is just setting up all the different types of things that you want in the field, whether it's a bamboo bomb, which is going to blow up when a monster goes through it, ballistas, if you want these automatic defender type, they're calling them, I believe, where you don't actually have to shoot them, but they have a villager there to help out and do it for you. You can set this area up as much as you want. Now, while you do have a pretty healthy preparation phase, if all players hold the button down and choose to just go straight into the next wave, you can skip past whatever remaining time you have left and start the first wave of attack. If you notice, monsters just start piling in here right away, which is really funny. Watch the bomb in the front there. You'll actually see the monsters charge in and get blown up, and then there's like a little recharge gauge. See, it blows up and does 300 damage, and then that will refill, and you can use it again. One of the things they'll show a little bit later in this hunt, which I think is neat, is right now you see on the bottom left it says level 1 for your fortress. There's a certain amount of different tools that you can choose when it's level 1, but as you sort of defeat monsters and progress, that thing will level up, and that will give you even more chances of different things to place, which is why you're able to change out the installments during the rampage itself. Now they're trying to show off the ballista, but they keep getting hit from the monsters because, they always know when you're recording live and they want to mess it up. So he goes ahead and he runs to the back here to show off how the ballista work. But the cool thing about these is that it's basically unlimited ammo. This is the same for cannons and ballista. I hope I'm saying that right. You can just shoot them as much as you want and they will auto reload. There's even a guard button. You can press the R button to guard. Right here he's using what they're calling, I believe, the retreat shot. And this is a special shot that will cause stun damage and cause the monster to fall backwards. The reason why he's focusing his shots on the Tetranodon is because that blue mark means that he is a type that is focused on destroying the barriers in the fortress. So he is probably top priority, whereas the red icons are monsters that are more liable to attack hunters, and the green icons are flying monsters which will use their distance to destroy like your ballista, your cannons, and stuff like that. So different ways to take down different types of enemies. But you see here he's focused on sort of getting rid of Tetranodon before he destroys that gate. So here in the video, they're just taking their time to explain very nicely the difference between the red icons, the blue icons, and the green icons. I don't know, I don't play tower defense games, but maybe this is a thing where you can color code the roles of the different soldiers coming in so you know how to deal with them. I think it's fascinating because I've never played games like this, and this is very much a brand new mode of a way to play the game. So I personally find it fascinating that they're so invested that people are going to like this, that they've made it such a huge part of the game. So yeah, I can't wait to get some hands on. If you notice, we're still in wave 1, and now there's another wave coming at you. So when they say wave, they're not just talking about 5 monsters, they're talking about a group of monsters. For this one, the major threat has come out. The major threat is sort of like the big boy of the group. So if you notice, this Great Izuchi is absolutely humongous. And once the major threat comes out into the map, the counter signal is activated. What this is, it lasts, I think on here it's lasting for 2 minutes. This is like a cry for everybody to just kick butt. So all your hunters become incredibly powered up, and you are encouraged to go down in the field with your weapon and take care of the monsters. I think the reason they're doing this is because the armaments are so powerful that if you hunt, compared to the hunter and the damage you can dish out, it's better to just sit there playing with the cannons and the ballista the entire time. But they wanted a way for hunters to really have a part of the phase where they are encouraged to go down and fight with their weapons. So they came up with this sort of like war cry rally, like "Go get 'em!" Like counter rally. And then when that is triggered, the hunters just get like incredibly powered up. And I kind of wish we could do this during normal hunts. But I guess when you have a group of everybody working together, you invigorate each other and become much stronger as a result. So yeah, I think this is really neat for the rhythm of the hunt, of having phases that are more focused on shooting and ones that are one with you going down. Of course, if you want to, if you notice he's here with the ballista, he's using it to knock out the major threat, and now he's just going to attack it with his weapon. So lots of different strategies for lots of different types of players. So during this section, as they were cleaning up the end of the first wave, they were just going over and explaining in more detail again about how you get access to these types of wyvern sort of stakes and blasts and cannons and machine cannons, all sorts of different things as you level up your fortress. So as long as you're focused on defending it and defeating the monsters and completing some of those sub-objectives, you're going to level up your fortress, and that's going to give you access to some really powerful but limited tools that you can then use depending on the situation. So I personally can't wait for players to come up with videos and strategies for types of rampages. It's going to be very interesting to see everyone's take on how to do these modes. So now that they've cleared out the first wave, they're now in the prep stage for the second wave. So you're able to sharpen up, change your weapon, change out the installments, which again you want to do because now you've leveled up and you have access to some much cooler ones. So it just keeps getting higher and higher stakes and more fun and more powerful, which is cool. So for here, they're just showing off some of the new examples where he can now place cannons now that he's got a higher level. The cannons in this game you can actually aim, which is very nice. And of course, just like the ballista, you don't have to restock it. It's all automatic. So very powerful. One of the things they explained during this part, which I thought was really interesting, was again, if you're one of the players that are not that into really busy action and lots of micromanagement, you could just focus on installing these defender type weapons, which have villagers on them, and they'll fire them for you. And then you can have a much more focused range on what you're going to do during the rampage. I love the idea personally that they're opening the door for these different player types, because I know for me personally, I don't necessarily like it when it's too frantic. So yeah, I think I'm going to use a balance between these defender weapons and ones that I can trigger myself. Again, this is a prep period. Once all players are ready, they can go ahead and press the button. It's sort of like accepting a quest and saying, okay, let's go on and start the second wave. And there is a second area which is not shown here yet. Players could be over there setting it up, or you can go over there and set it up. There's a lot of things you could do during this prep phase. Okay, so at this point he's just explaining the bamboo bomb so that you can place it, and you can sort of put it in like passageways. When monsters go through there, it will self-detonate and blow up. So now they're going to go ahead and skip and go straight into wave 2, which they'll be able to show off now the cannons. I love the cannons. So here we go. Wave 2 is about to start. The monsters just come pouring in, which is great. If you notice, the cannons are much more powerful than the ballista, and they have a lot of different shot types as well. They have the ability, you can charge your shot to do sort of charge it up and do a shot that's more damage or a bigger radius. You can shoot normal cannonballs. These things even have specific things. For example, this cannon here has a charged thunder ball. What it does is it causes thunder blight to the monsters. So lots of different options for things to do, and that was a charge shot he just showed. So playing around with these things are going to be really fun, I think. One of the things I want to call off during this section is just how awesome they designed this fortress. I just love the idea that the wire bugs are what really makes this work. Using the wire bugs to zip between the different platforms to, sort of manage the crowd, change out the cannons, and do different things. This would not really be fun or possible without the wire bugs. So I just love the concept for that reason alone, that it's a marriage of the different concepts that are coming together. For this part, they're not really explaining too much. All they're doing is talking about that, different monsters, certain different ballistas or cannons might be better and more effective against certain monsters. So trying to figure out which strategy to use is going to be another fun way to play the game. Okay, now they're going to show you how you can summon NPCs from the village to help you out. So for this one, they're going to show off Hinoe and Minoto, and they're going to come in. Instead of them just running around the field, they're almost used like static, and this is what I mentioned in the Third Fleet podcast, is like an arcade game. You summon them and they have a specific role that they'll do, and you can only summon them once during a rampage. So for these two, they'll go ahead and directly attack monsters. They have the arrows, and they have this sort of like wind thrust that she does with her lance. But they did mention that there's other NPCs that you can unlock. I think we even seen some previews and hints that it may be, for example, Iori and Yomogi, the two kids, like they can join in, because I know she had a heavy bowgun, he had a charge blade. But they do also mention during this section that they have different roles. So where Hinoa and Minoto are attack types, like they'll attack the monsters directly, they said some NPCs will do stuff like level up or strengthen your other ornaments. So I guess, like, this is just my assumption here. What they mean is, like, someone will come in and give you like a powered up, stronger cannon. Who knows, maybe Hamon comes and he does something crazy, I don't know. But it's nice to know that the villagers all have a very specific role to their character, and I'm very interested. They don't mention here at all about how those are unlocked, whether it's like side quests, or if it's just the fortress level or what, but that'll be very interesting to find out. This section here, they were just explaining that just like regular quests, there's also, like you can leave a quest midway and collect rewards for your accomplishments, or like clearing like sub-objectives and stuff like that. I don't think it's very interesting, to be honest, to even mention this, because it could give the wrong impression, and this is definitely, I don't think, was their intention, of saying, hey, if you're a single solo player and you don't have enough time, or you have trouble getting through a full rampage, you could just go midway through and leave. And though you don't get a lot of rewards, you get some, so you can get the rampage materials or whatever. But I think they're just trying to emphasize here, what I get from this is that, it's not all or nothing. Like, this is a very intense mode that's long and engaging, but it doesn't have to be. As they mentioned in another point in this video, there's some that are just 2 waves long, and there's some very big rampages like this one, which are 3 waves with a apex at the end. So you can sort of decide how much commitment you want to do before you go and do the quest. So they're definitely thinking about usability here, and I think that is in part because this is supposed to be portable friendly, because it is on the Switch. So just something worth mentioning. I also love that you can mount monsters during this. We see him running around with I just love the what's the right word? The derpiness of the running of the Acnosum. It's so cute. But you can probably just do like, a ride festival, like ride him, ride another, ride another, ride another, ride another. It's gonna be really fun. Okay, so they're about to finish up the second wave, and this again would be the ending and the sort of the average length for a small scale rampage. Where the third wave and the apex at the end is going to be the large scale rampage. This will all be searchable in the menu as well. So you see here, we get the icons. I do want to shut up once the apex comes in, just so you can hear that they have a new theme song for it. I think it's really cool. But for this section, they're just explaining that this would be the normal endpoint for a short scale one, and not a long scale one. Now, they are going to cycle through some of the new level 7 stuff, and I'm going to stop it and explain what I read, because I found it very interesting. I think they're trying very hard not to show stuff that they're not want to give away. But here we go. The first one, he cycles over and we see a summon for the village elder Fugen. Now, he doesn't go ahead and use Fugen, but it does say that he wields his longsword, and his massive swing will do an area range of attack of all monsters that are around him. So it sounds like he does this huge attack with his longsword, and it does sort of area range damage. In here, he just cycles through a few other ones, and then he stops on that green one, which I really wanted to see, which is the rapid fire cannon. So this allows them to go bum 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 and rapid fire. So at this point, you can tell that the people demoing the game were not sure if they had any more time to do anything else, because during their sort of rehearsals, they never got this far, and they were running on a tight schedule. But Tsujimoto-san, being the good producer he is, and always doing some fan service, said go ahead and show them the apex, which they were all really laughing about and say, oh, okay, we can show it off, great. Here they're going ahead, they have a gong which you can ring. This will sort of trigger the counter signal Normally it's like 120 seconds. It happens when the large threat comes out, the major threat. But you're also able to manually trigger it if you want to get everybody in there with their weapons doing a lot of damage. And it lasts for a lower amount of time. The higher your fortress level is, the more powerful that manual gong is. But it is nice to know that you have that on demand for calling down the hunters to go with their weapons and kick some butt. So here they're just quick trying to get rid of the Tetranodons because, again, these are destroyer type monsters, so they're going to go straight for the gate. And you do not want that. So that's why he rung it, so he can go ahead and do this, and also just showing off some really cool moves with the switch axe here. I'm assuming that was a switch skill because we don't normally have that elemental finisher, so it looks like it's a new type that we can do. So interested to learn more about that. So here he goes, he shows the rapid fire cannon. Check this sucker out. I love it. This reminds me of the one in Iceborne, which is one of my favorite things in that game to use. I'm very curious personally if sort of like they're going to have armor skills that are specifically good for this type of mode, like that increase explosive damage and stuff, because man, I'm going to have fun making Rampage sets. Now there are 3 options on this rapid fire one. There is a silk bind shot, there's a spread shot, and a rapid shot, which I find very interesting. I'm going to be quiet now because the Apex is going to come out and I want you to hear the song.
あとまあねこの百竜の来ましたね。主がちょうど。
待ってました主。
ドーン。まあ主とかちょっと特別なモンスターに関しては先ほどまでのアイコンは赤と青と緑って言ってましたけど、ちょっとこのピンク色というか、はい。のちょっと竜のようなアイコン、はい、が特徴になっております。
Okay, it was a little hard to hear over all that sound effects and talking, but hopefully you got a little preview of that. This scene is powerful, man. Did you see that jump it did? It destroyed the gate, and now they're just running over to the second area. It's like, we gotta stop this thing, go! Because they were doing a stage presentation, they didn't really prepare the second part of the fortress, so if you notice, they haven't set anything up here. So this one was really interesting. This is saying something like a dragon lure. Like a bait. So what this does is when you summon it, it uses the sound of shells to sort of lure in a monster towards it. This I imagine is really good if you want to try to line it up near like a Dragonator or something. But that's cool to know that there are certain types of installations that will have effects that can lure monsters towards them. And here's one we only see for a split second, so I'm going to pause it here. But this is an automatic machine that will shoot off like a fire breath forward towards the monster. So it's almost like a fire breath from like a Teostra or something like that. Looks really cool, but it gets destroyed right away. For this part, I'm just going to shut up so you can hear just the fun and excitement of them doing this and also the music. I think it's great, so I will shut up for about 20 seconds.
設備とか整えたりとか、まあそういうのもしていくと迎え撃つことができるようになったりとか、はい、していけるようになります。減るね。むちゃくちゃ強いです。主はかなり強いんで。
Yeah, so this is really neat. I love how the final area seems like it's going to probably turn into a traditional fight here because the Apex has just destroyed everything. You still have the 4 different things here, so you can put bombs and stuff like that, but definitely looks like a traditional fight, which is exciting. Anyways, that was the demo of the Rampage. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing a look of it. Hopefully my commentary helped explain a little bit of what you were seeing. I found it fascinating. It's completely different from anything we've seen before in Monster Hunter, and I can't wait to try it out. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments what you think about the Rampage, and until next time, happy hunting.